right. It is the Illini Basketball Podcast, episode 142, January 26th, 2023 is the date of today, and the Illini with a nice victory over the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah.
Emphasis on the word nice.
Oh, I thought you were going to say emphasis on the, but
you could do that too, certainly.
Nice enough. Yeah. Illinois bounces back. Maybe Underwood wasn't lying about all the, 19 games in a row and everything else. Illinois,
there's always something to that.
Yeah. Illinois looked back. Hopefully they can carry it over into Wisconsin, but we're going to talk about Ohio State. We're going to talk about our POG. I know you guys are going to be shocked, but consensus vote for Coleman Hawkins this game. 37 minutes, 5 of 10 from the field. He was 1 of 6 from 3, though. Made his first 3, I believe, and then missed the next 5. 11 points, which doesn't jump off the screen, but 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks, 1 turnover. Good Coleman Hawkins showed up. If good Coleman Hawkins shows up every game, Illinois is going to be hard to beat, right?
Sure.
But we've seen some inconsistencies out of him.
Well, I'll say this. I think anytime he could be player of the game worthy when going 1 for 6 from 3, I think that's a sign that he did everything else well, which he did in this game. I think also the matchups against a team like Ohio State, a lot easier for him because there's no really real banger that he's going to have to guard, or there's no wing that can completely spread the floor.
Yeah, and he was on Sensabaugh most of the game. I know he didn't have him every time, but played really good defense against him. I think Sensabaugh had 9 in the first half, 5 in the second half. Yeah. So you'll take that. And just he seemed to be a better decision maker in this game. He, made smart passes. His head fake actually worked. Because a guy was actually on him, and then he went to the basket, and then he head faked again. So there was one play where I wish he would have went up. You said he would have got a charge. So smart plays all around. He had that one. Him and Ty Rogers had back-to-back plays. RJ missed a 3. Ty gets the rebound, dishes it to Coleman for the slam, and then Terrence Shannon tries to alley-oop it to Coleman. And I believe Coleman said afterwards that Terrence Shannon needs to learn how to alley-oop better or throw lobs better.
Fair.
So he said he could have threw it down, but he just saw Ty there. So
I'm selfish.
That's why he passed it off to him. So
I think – go ahead.
Yeah, Bradley's here. Brad, what's going on? And he says, hey, guys, love listening to your podcast. You guys do great. Thank you, Brad. We appreciate that. Steve's here. Steve, how you doing today? So but yeah, I thought that his passing was a lot, but he didn't make any silly passes. The ones that you go, what are you doing, Coleman? And he had that nice outlet to RJ. I don't know how RJ corralled that and made it, but he did. So it was just, again, when Coleman plays like this, Illinois can be really good. He was asked about the challenge of guarding Sensabaugh, and he said that he loves the challenge and trying to make it hard for the best player on the other team. So I guess you just got to put him on good players all the time to play good defense. He said, I thought it was interesting. Coleman said on Likely, he said, we knew Likely wasn't a very good shooter. I think he added no knock to him. It sounds like a knock, but so we were helping off of him a little bit. We threw in a little double package, so you caught a glimpse of that, which I think it's crazy that they threw a double on Zed Key, but they threw one maybe on Terrence Shannon Jr. or on Trace Jackson Davis.
What's going on?
PJJ. I know you're tweeting, so you're not even listening.
I was texting actually, but I will say this about Illinois' defense in this game. I think they did a good job on pretty much everybody. I think if you would say Sensabaugh gets 14 on 5 of 13 shooting, that's good. But also Suing did get them a few times. He was 6 for 11, so he
Just
was good.
if he gets his left hand, he seems to make anything he puts up, even be underhand, overhand, behind the back, it's going in.
Yeah.
I felt like the help defense in this game was a lot better than it has been. Danger still isn't stepping up to the guards that are wide open, but I felt like the help defense with Coleman. Coleman has been in spots where I've complained that he doesn't help enough, and he did it this game. So I'm glad to see that. Donnie's here. Donnie says, "Here's an amazing stat. When Illinois scores 70 points or more, they are 12-1. When they score less than 70 points, they are 2-5. This would be one of the two, right? 69. Dave says, "I'd like to see Illinois play a zone defense at times." Yeah, I don't know if Brad has something against zone defenses, but how many times have you seen Brad run a zone?
Less than 5.
Yeah, and I think Minnesota kind of proved that a zone could mess with Indiana last night. So who knows?
I think it's something that's nice to have in your back pocket. I think the teams like Syracuse use it as a crutch because they suck.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and their
and
coach is an
which he's
absolute
just
bum.
in his ways. So I think that's kind of how Brad is too.
Yeah.
He wants to be long, athletic, and play really good defense. So
Brad's not a complete dickhead like Boeheim is, and Boeheim's also 98 years old. So
that's true. Brad, after the game, said Coleman was terrific, really controlled the game on both ends of the court. He was asked about his consistency, Coleman's consistency. And he said, quote, "Coleman's really talented. He's going to have a night where he makes 5 threes. I think he is a lockdown defender. That's the consistency. I don't want to judge consistency for him on what he does on the offensive side. That consistency on defense." Why do you say consistency so much? On the defensive side, and in his rebounding. They said they talked a lot to him about being more aggressive on the rebounds, and I felt like the whole team was kind of like that. Seemed like the team was attacking the rim after every shot went up, and it kind of showed 44 to 30 rebounds in this game. Illinois with 14 more, which
they allowed 7 early offensive rebounds.
And they had 4 or 5 turnovers really early and ended with 12.
Yeah.
So they kind of got things clicking. Terrence Shannon was on the podium with Coleman, and Terrence Shannon said, quote, "He is a threat from 3. He is a great passer, one of the best passers I've ever played with. A mismatch for bigs, can go out and guard a guard. Feel like we're unbeatable when Coleman plays like that."
I mean, he hasn't played with very many passers then, I guess. Huh?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, Coleman can't.
He's a good passer.
He's a good passer, but not everything has to be a no look, right? I mean, I understand that you do it because you're trying to make it and not look cool, but trying to throw the offense off or the defense off. Everyone doesn't have to be a no look.
Well, at what point are they gonna be like, "Yeah, he's like Patrick Mahomes out there, dude"? When's Underwood gonna say that, or one of his players gonna say it? They're gonna say that.
You're probably right.
Probably what they think.
Scott Ritchie asked the question about, do you feed off nuggets? I know you're gonna love this. I know you're gonna love it, so that's why I put it in here for you. And Coleman said, quote, "I notice it when they are going crazy like that. And sometimes I hope they miss so we can get the crowd going. That is the most embarrassing thing I've ever heard."
Yeah.
The crowd is always great. He added after that. "I like when people miss 2 free throws in a row. It gets the crowd into it, and the crowd gets us into it."
I would like
so
to
we're relying on missed free throws and free chicken nuggets for the crowd and the team to get going.
I would like to congratulate Coleman on entering the Brad Underwood school of press conferences by saying the same word 36 times in 2 sentences. Pretty good.
Well, just wait till we get to Brad talking about the Orange Crush. You're going to love it.
Oh, it's going to be good. I mean, obviously these guys aren't going to shit on the crowd, which they
Yeah, you
should. I
can't do
mean,
that.
bunch of losers in the Orange Crush, but
Whoa, all right.
I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, it's me
I
versus the
mean,
Orange Crush. Apparently,
you've been
apparently, you're
saying
not
it,
along for
man.
the ride in this
I
battle.
am not along for the ride.
Ridiculous. You're not a team guy. That's all right.
I'm an Illinois guy, and you are.
I didn't say anything about
I
the
mean, if
team.
anybody watched the watch party, they saw negative Ethan for about, I don't know, hour and 15 minutes.
That's what they're gonna get, man.
It
It is what it is.
You come to expect it. Terrence Shannon Jr., 36 minutes, 4 of 10 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3. Perfect from the line, 9 for 9, 17 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover. Again, another guy that lately he hasn't been rebounding that much. He had one game where I think he had 8 recently, but nice to see him get 7. Again, it seemed that they hammered it into these guys that you got to start rebounding. When Terrence Shannon Jr. is attacking the basket, he's a completely different guy than taking those step back threes. And I wish he would just stop with those. I know that, sometimes you shoot them. I felt early in the game that the team was playing a lot of ISO ball. It'd get under 10 seconds. Whoever had the ball was just kind of doing whatever they wanted with it. And Terrence Shannon was a big part of that, I think. But he had some good some good drives, some nice kickouts to Epps, Melendez, who couldn't make anything again, but they were trying to get Melendez in there. But yeah, he was really good. He got in the passing lane on one, got a nice breakaway dunk. Seems like he does that once a game. So he was asked about his aggressiveness, and he said, quote, "My team always wants me to be aggressive. I'm pretty hard to stop going downhill. That's what I do. Stay aggressive. That's my role on the team." So.
Right. Rebounding. Terrence Shannon Jr. rebounding since the Wisconsin game, or from the Wisconsin game to now. 8 against Wisconsin, 11 against Nebraska, 5 against Michigan State, 4 against Minnesota, 1 against Indiana, 7 against Ohio State. And also,
I knew he fell off there for a few games.
From the Nebraska game to now, from 3, he is not doing too well, I would say. A little inconsistent from 3, which I think we came to expect this season to begin with, but he is he's 7 for 25 in those games from 3, shooting 33% from 3, which is way lower than his entire career. But I also think that he's much more relied upon to try and make threes or try and make plays than he was at Texas Tech, because Texas Tech pretty much decided, they don't really want to play too much offense, at least under Mark Adams last season. This season, they're just a train wreck, but what they lost.
Dave says Coleman is either real good or not so good. He's like Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know which one's the good on Jekyll and Hyde, but we see a lot more of the not so good. Bradley said, any word on Luke Goody, when Luke Goody may play again? They announced before the Ohio State game that he would be back to practice in like 6 or 7 days. So that would be probably today or tomorrow. And I got to think that he's got to practice for a week, right? Ethan, with his insider source, which he really doesn't have any, says the 4th. Expect him back February 4th.
February 4th. Yeah.
4th. You got a big date tonight or something? You're really on that phone.
I was looking up Luke Goody. I was seeing if there's any new updates.
Oh, okay.
On Twitter.
All right. You got 3 monitors in front of you. You're looking on your phone.
I got something over here just in case. I got stats here,
I got you. Jay Neps, 32 minutes, 5 of 13, 2 of 8 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line, 14 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers. Despite what many people thought, this was his second career start at Illinois. Started the Alabama A&M game. Had some really good, offensive possessions. He made that one play drive to the hole. I don't know how it went in. Made a few threes. Probably could have made more. And I thought his defense was really good this game. I talk about it. I think I talk about it every podcast that I think his defense keeps getting better. And again, in this game, it looked really good. Underwood said to him, quote, he was great. I guess he was asked about about switching the starters. And he said, quote, he was great. Wasn't anything big, just kind of a gut feeling. Sincere has been incredible and will continue to be. I think maybe on the offensive side, teams have to have a little bit different approach with Jaden in the game. I love the fact that he got 13 shots up tonight. Thought he missed some he normally makes.
Yeah, I think I'll be curious to see how Illinois wants to defend Hepburn on Saturday. Because if you remember in the first game, Shannon on Hepburn was pretty good when they did that because Epps was kind of struggling against him. So I don't know how that changes with Wisconsin's, getting Wall back in there. I don't know who else they're going to start if they change the lineup since they're coming off of just some really bad games in the last.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably should have a complete losing streak since they lost to Illinois, but they don't.
Yeah.
But I'll be curious. Yeah, and I, who knows?
Yeah. Frank wants to know what WTF is wrong with Melendez.
He doesn't have the appearance of a confident shooter, I would say.
Yeah. I told you that, well, we'll talk about him in a little bit, but I told you when he came out of the locker room, he looked like he was hurt. Like he looked like his belly was rumbling. That's what he looked like to me. But I guess he had some muscle issues, Underwood said. So, Quackle, Ethan, does Perrin start on Saturday?
Oh God, I hope so. I'm telling you right now, this kid, he's gonna be,
elite,
maybe the best player in the history of the program.
Elite.
Honestly, I've been doing a little bit too much drive by on him. I think
you have, yeah.
But it's not his fault; it's the fans' fault because every time
that's true
something goes wrong, I'll bring him up. So it's obviously not directed at him as a player, but it's directed at the fans who are too stupid to realize that he's not going to be playing. I mean, they just think that
like 2 minutes. What do you mean?
Like for a program like this one that has been so focused on development under Brad, for the fans to just be like, "Oh, this French kid who enrolled in second semester is just going to come over and play right away," like in the Big Ten. What are we doing?
Does he even understand English?
I mean, that's a big question. Some people are asking.
Philip says Coleman is like 2006 Rex Grossman, high highs and low lows, no middle.
Wouldn't know, didn't watch that trash. And I also wrote on here banana in the tailpipe because whenever he threw it off of, whenever Epps threw it off of the defender's back and then laid it in on the blob, the announcer said banana in the tailpipe very casually, like he had written it down. And I didn't think that. I don't think that that's gotten enough buzz on social media or Hummel. Hummel didn't even acknowledge it from per source. Yeah.
What's Robbie doing?
I mean, to just come up and say he had to have written that down, right? If he has a little chart that says, okay, throws it off the guy's back, banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah, it's probably got it in a Google Doc somewhere.
So. Very bizarre, but yeah.
Jeremy's here. Jeremy, what's going on, man? How you doing today? Matthew Meyer not sick this game. So 27 minutes, 3 of 9, 2 of 6 from 3, 4 of 5 from the free throw line, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 turnovers. He did foul out of this game. It seems like Meyer is kind of that guy that when Illinois needs a bucket, when they need a 3 to kind of stop a run, something like that, they're going to him. And he's hitting timely threes, I believe, lately. So, and he continues to take it to the basket strong, which you always like to see. His defense, I'm kind of getting a little annoyed with the kind of sagging off defense. Let the guy get around me so I can block him. It bothers me a bit, not enough, but a bit. So I wish I had,
What?
Nobody cares? I care. Brad said of Matt, quote, I think the greatest misnomer with Matt, he's got that laid back, he's laid back, but he is an ultimate competitor and nobody wants to win more than Matt. When it comes down to competing, he wants to tear your head off.
Do they ask Brad about every player in these press conferences?
I think so.
Because like from game to game, I mean, what's he going to say,
Yeah. I think they were just asking about him being sick and if he was
Okay, yeah.
better.
See, that's fair. But like, if you're just
So
gonna say, "Oh, what'd you think of this guy? Oh, what'd you think of this
no,
guy?
I
Oh,
mean
what'd you think of this
there's
guy?"
actual
These
questions to
questions
these.
suck.
Do you want me to put the questions in also? Because we
It
could go like 2
might
hours if
be,
we
yeah,
wanted
it might be something that has to be done. I don't know.
to. But yeah, I mean he seemed much better this game than he was last game. Again, the defense thing kind of annoys me. It's going to burn him, I believe. So, Alexis, what's going on? My daughter's here.
No.
What's up? Got a pin in my mouth. Dane Danger, 14 minutes. Time was limited to foul trouble. He had 2 early and then got his 4th. I don't know, 10 minutes left, 12 minutes left. I don't know. Ethan's texting his girlfriend. 3 of 5 from the field, 6 points, 4
Almost
rebounds, 1
probably.
assist, 1 steal, 1 turnover. I thought he was good when he was in. It wasn't great this game. And I think this might be his worst game he's had since getting in the starting role. He only had 4 against Wisconsin and Nebraska, but he had a lot more than 4 rebounds. I think he had like 9 and 8 in those games. So and a few block shots.
7 and 6.
And some block shots in those games, like 3 and 2. So
3 and 2. No, 3 and 3. 3 and 3.
3 and 3. Okay. Even better. Even better. So
I actually think he was worse against Indiana.
I mean, defensively
and offensively.
Dane looked a little disgruntled on the bench late. Well, he shouldn't keep fouling people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Brad's fault.
Yeah, his offensive rating against Indiana was 97. This game it was 112. And also
Ethan thinks he's transferring, so
1 for 4 from the line. I don't know who said that. 1 for 4 from the line. 1 for 4 from the line against Indiana. 50% against Indiana. And yeah, he's better in this game than Indiana. Especially like defensively, he didn't have to. Wasn't too much defensive pressure on him in this game.
He took Zedkey out of the game.
And Zedkey had the shoulder injury anyway. Plus, he's not that great of an offensive threat anyway, as well. Anyway, yeah. Brad Underwood anyway.
Brad Underwood anyway goes and doubles him.
Let me just say the word anyway 7 times in one sentence anyway. So anyway.
I agree. Brad let him know too. Yeah, that he can't foul. RJ Melendez, 30 minutes, 1 for 6, 0 for 3 from 3, 1 for 2 from the line, 3 points, 3 rebounds. No turnovers, though. So,
all right. I mean, when would he ever be in a position to turn the ball over?
That's true, because he is catch and
shoot.
Throw
that stat out there.
Catch and shoot. He probably could have fumbled his one make because Coleman's pass was a little high. RJ got up and got it. So, I mean, he's still playing really good defense. Brad was, I mean, it seemed like the last 4 minutes, Brad was only trying to get RJ the ball to get shots up. For your information, the score was 69-52 when that started, and it ended 69-60. So that tells you anything about how getting RJ the ball did. I was looking at his stats. Right now, he's 38% from the field and 26.5% from 3 on the season.
Horrific, in a word.
That is brutal. Again, his defense is still good. He's not hurting the team when he's on the court. Some of those shots fall. I think he's going to be helpful. I mean, is there somebody you would rather have in than RJ taking
Luke
shots?
Goody. Luke Goody, definitely.
That's true. Okay, well, Luke Goody, February 4th. I don't even know if they play that day, but I'm just going to keep
Iowa,
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Underwood was asked about RJ, of course, because he gets asked about everybody. He said, quote, keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting. He had a muscle spasm in his shoulder and back at halftime. We all know he is capable and does it in practice, and it's going to click. He is really guarding and rebounding and everything else.
I mean, he's 18 for 68 from 3. At what point do you just stop saying keep shooting? 18 for 68. And how many of those have been good looks? Probably 80% of them.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Brad apparently sees him score, make baskets all the time. So there's something about in-game
They
situations.
must say in
where-
practice, "Hey, don't defend RJ at all. Just
Can you just lay off of him?
leave him wide open."
Get him a little.
And he started the year.
Don't you think teams are going to lay off of him a little bit more?
I mean, they have been.
That's
He's
true.
open almost every time he shoots. He's
true.
also 22 for 28 from the line, and that would mean that he's 3 for 9 since being 19 for 21. So
he is just a mental head case right now.
It just doesn't look right. I don't think that his shoulder is still injured, but it just doesn't look right.
There was one he shot, and the rotation was just awful. That was him, right? I said that it looked like it was knuckling up there.
Sure,
I can't remember.
Sure.
Go back and watch the tape.
His shoulder like looks weird when he shoots. I don't know. Could be a lingering.
Probably
deal.
why it's hurt because he doesn't
Can't
have
shoot.
proper
form.
Ty Rodgers, who I thought you would pick for player of the game, honestly. 15 minutes, 2 of 3 from the field. His only miss was a wide open layup. 4 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 turnovers. I wrote down Ty gives 110%, 150% of the time because that adds up, you know.
Let me just real quick here about Ty Rodgers. I love how he misses a wide open layup, but then makes a sky hook. Like, what in the hell is that?
I don't know. Brad talked about that, and he said, what a big time move, rip driving to the middle of the floor. And then he said, in our secret scrimmage, you all know who that was against. He was a monster doing that. So apparently he did that to Kansas just nonstop. And then he talked about how some of his rebounds were really big momentum stoppers, and then added, I love Ty Rodgers. So
we all do. I think Dane Danger probably dropped like 30 and 30 against Kansas because you watch Kansas, they just cannot guard a big.
Travis Boyer's here. Travis, what's going on, buddy? Melendez and Hawkins are huge disappointments. Brad is high. Both of them should never shoot a 3 again. Hawkins, turnover machine. Illinois, disappointment. But so is the rest of the Big Ten except for Purdue.
A lot to unpack there.
That is a heavy statement.
Will say this. I think I'd be okay with RJ not maybe just laying off a little bit from 3. Like 18 for 68. It's just like, Jesus.
I mean, I think RJ's bread and butter is 17 footers.
Which I hate too, but no, you know. Coleman is 26 for 83 from 3, 31%, which is not – I'd like to see him be 35. I think I'd like to see everybody be 35, but who on this team is even like above? Like Shannon's under that. So I would be okay with Melendez and Hawkins maybe shooting less 3s, but I know that's not going to happen. And Hawkins, you know,
no,
I can't really say anything about him being a disappointment right now. I think we're kind of getting what we expected. Like I would say,
I just after I never expected Coleman to be just fantastic, and I think that we've kind of said that for 6 months. But
I would say 4 out of the last 6 games he's been good.
Yeah.
Because Wisconsin, he was really good. Nebraska, he was good. Michigan State, second half was good. Minnesota, foul trouble, didn't hurt the team. Indiana, just nobody was good in that game.
Yeah.
And then this game, he was good. So,
and I think we talked about, him being, we wanted him to, a 10-10 guy's great, but everybody expected Coleman to be a 20-15 guy. I mean, that's kind of what expectations were, NBA talent, blah, blah, blah. But I'm good with 10, 5, and 3 or whatever. Because if he's doing that, he's not going 3 points, 4 rebounds, a turnover like he did against Minnesota.
Illinois has 2 players shooting above 35% from 3. Would you like to guess?
Stop shooting them. That's what I'd say.
Who are they?
Matthew Meyer.
36.
And I want to say Epps, but he's been struggling.
35. Yep.
Okay.
Everybody else under. Sincere 32. RJ, what did I say he was? 18 for 68, so 26, right?
Yeah, 26 and a half as well.
Jesus. And then Shannon 33, Coleman 31. Ty Rogers 0% from 3, 0 for 1.
Yeah.
And Dane, unfortunately, has not taken one.
Yeah. I thought Tyrod, we were still on Ty Rogers until Travis wrote a book to us. I was going to say, he's always so extreme. His arms are always moving. I think it got him in trouble with that sensible foul because sensible really didn't get touched. But you take Ty Rogers being aggressive all the time.
Is it Terrence Rogers? Because that's what the announcer tossed out there.
TJJ or something like that.
Why don't we just put this on the audio here? This is the Illini basketball radio deal here, just to kind of.
Buckeyes, here's a drive by Terrence Rogers, running hook.
Oh man, running hook by Terrence Rogers. I mean, that's like you doing that.
That
with,
is me. Yeah,
TJJ and TSJ.
That's why I don't do live radio shows.
Is that the only reason? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, basically, they've asked, and I respectfully declined. I said, I look like an idiot enough on this podcast. I do. You don't want me on the radio. Steve says the spread took a lot of thinking away from Coleman. He is better when he just plays. I think that is a great point.
It's true.
Travis, take away a couple games. Hawkins made several threes. Then look at his stats.
But they're not. Right? They're not good to begin with. I mean, let's be honest.
Just starting the book if you want.
31.
You want, Trav? We're here.
Let's see.
I do have a time frame I got to leave by today.
5 for 8. 2 for 6. Yeah, I mean, his percentage isn't that good anyway. But also, I think I'm almost okay with anybody on the team shooting a 3 if it's a good look, unless it's Terrence Rogers, right?
Yeah, Terrence Rogers. Sincere, 7 minutes, 0 for 2, took 2 threes. 1 rebound, 1 assist. It's the least amount of minutes he's played since the Maryland game where he played 6. Before that, he had 4 against Syracuse, and he had 9 against Northwestern. So those were the only 3 games besides this one, only the 6th game with double-digit minutes. Sorry, I can't read what I write. That's why I never write all this stuff down, because I can't read. Again, why we do this silly podcast and not something different. But yeah, Brad's saying that Sincere is great and he'll continue to be great, and then he plays him 7 minutes. So forgot he was there again.
Didn't need him.
Your favorite player and the guy that probably should be starting, Brandon Lieb.
Solid.
2 minutes, 1 for 1, 2 points, 1 block. Should have been 2, but the ref called a terrible foul on Ty Rogers.
Terrence Rogers. And he was good for the 2 minutes. I don't know. Yeah.
Brad praised the crap out of him, and I'm like, Brad, he played 2 minutes. So,
the expectations for him are at the absolute floor. So,
I mean, I think the good thing about Brandon Lieb, and I said it during the watch party, he actually sets screens. So the pick and roll really works well with him. That's why he can get open and make those bunnies usually. The only thing his defense, which I don't think Dane's really great at it, the pick and roll defense, because Brandon Lieb is brutal against guards. He is just slow.
That's about right.
But I think he's going to be one of those guys that is going to be able to help the team when Dane Danger gets in foul trouble. I mean, 5-6 minutes if you need him, because he can find a way to get the basket, and he's 7 foot tall.
I mean, don't look now, folks, but Brandon Lieb has played 14 minutes in the last 3 games. Watch out.
Why is that? Because Dane Danger keeps out. We were talking about how Dane Danger doesn't have to foul and all this stuff because he's so long, and now he's just getting in foul trouble every game. So
I think you could say 15 minutes because he's on the score sheet or the box score against Indiana, but it also says 0 minutes. But I'm pretty sure he probably played less than a minute against Indiana, which should round up to a minute. That should be 15 minutes right there.
I agree. Other notes and quotes. Free throws this game, much better. A lot to do with Terrence Shannon Jr., but Illinois 16 of 18 from the line for 88.9%. That had to raise their percentage up by 5%.
No. Well,
Okay,
they're
never mind.
316th in the country now in free throw percentage,
Yeah.
which is on pace to be Brad Underwood's worst free throw shooting team of his entire coaching career as a
Yeah.
head coach. Just not even close. Like
Just bad.
his other worst one was another Illinois team that was 236 2 years ago in the 1 seed year. But of course, at Oklahoma State, he had the number 5 team, and then he was in the top 30 a couple times at Stephen F. Austin. So pretty good free throw shooting team. Pretty good.
Yeah. Again, they won the defense or the rebounding battle 44-30 with 14 offensive rebounds, 13 assists on 24 made baskets. Seemed like they were sharing the ball a lot more than they did in the Indiana game. Team averaging 6 blocks. They get 6 blocks. 12 turnovers. Again, I believe that 5 of those were within the first 3-4 minutes. So after that, they cleaned it up. Only 6 of those were forced by Ohio State. Brad said, quote, "We didn't have a ton of light bulb turnovers that could get them out and running." So I guess that's a good thing. If you're going to have 12 turnovers,
Certainly.
none of them were light bulb turnovers. So Illinois was 16-1 in fast break points. And Brad was asked, how do you get that differential? And he said, I'm going to say that I've never heard this before. He said, quote, "Running good offense. Sometimes your best defense is a really good offense." Have you ever heard that? Isn't it your best offense is a really good defense? Anyways, trying to execute. Been a point to emphasize for the last 2 straight days and make sure we get back. Thought their transition defense was definitely a lot better this game. Ohio State really not a transition playing team.
I don't even know if is anybody in the Big Ten even like that at this point.
Illinois could be if they
try to be. They kind of are. I think the other ones would be Indiana does it, Iowa does it. That's about it. Yeah. Michigan a little bit, but I just love how you said, "Have you ever heard that?" And I didn't say anything. That was kind of interesting. I don't know.
I know because you're looking at your phone.
No, I was paying attention that entire time for that part. What I don't understand is that's his answer to fast break points.
Yeah.
How does running a good offense translate to fast break points?
I don't know because Brad just talks.
He just talks, and then 90% of what he says should just be thrown away.
It's true. Post game, walked out, said, quote, something about popcorn being salted. I don't know. Apparently, that's some joke they have. I was very pleased defensively tonight. Had the 6th ranked KenPom team offensively, and you know what they're capable of. First half, I think they were 18 of 50 from 2. Yeah, 18 of 50. That was the plan. They shoot a lot of 2s, and we wanted them contested. Talked about keeping them out of transition and rebounding the basketball.
They were 18 of 50 from 2 for the entire game.
Yeah, I don't know. He said first half.
First half? What is he, high?
Probably. Jeremy says Brad is an elite talker. He said, quote, "Spent 2 hard days trying to guard the bully ball. I think Isaac was 1 of 6 on hard 2s in the first half." I assume that's likely. Is that his first name, Isaac?
Likely? Yeah. Okay. Nobody wants to say his last name, obviously.
He said, quote, "I felt in the first half tonight, especially early, we tried too hard at look at me, run actions, call a set instead of just running. We have to find a happy balance." So Brad was mad the guys were running set plays.
He wants them to get out in transition and turn the ball over, apparently.
Which turned into ISO ball, so I understand why he was a little mad about that, but it's all right. He said, quote, "It's always fun to play in front of the best fans in college basketball. It's great having the Orange Crush back and them rocking. There's just a different electricity with them here. I love having those guys here. It just creates a different vibe."
Just horrific. I mean, he's not paying attention, obviously.
That was just for you. So
God, I mean, what are we doing here? We got to stop pretending that the student sections they're not any good. Let's be honest. Embarrassing. Yeah, I think if Brad saw or paid attention or was in the building maybe like 15 years ago and saw what the Orange Crush used to be, he would have a bit of a different opinion on what they are right now. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that college students are mostly soft these days. I think they're not into they're not into the hardcore. Sometimes you got to muck it up. Not everything looks great in the game. So if you go down 9-4 against Indiana, you don't have to just stand around like. I mean, why am I even here? It's 9-4, dude. I could be smoking weed and playing video games right now, dude. I mean, that's kind of what they're thinking. I think
there were multiple comments at some of the beat writer guys that said, "Was it as quiet there as it sounded on TV?" So,
yeah, great. I mean, it's going really well for the Orange Crushers. They've really dominated.
They went nuts after the Nuggets, though. Nuts.
Great.
He was asked about the guys defensively and stuff, and he said, guys are buying into working hard. It's simply working hard. Chester and TA deserve a lot of credit. Those guys are good. They are starting to take some identity to that end of the court, and when we rebound like that, it puts a pretty tough picture. It puts a pretty tough picture together. Fundamentally, we are making less mistakes. In scouting reports, we are making less mistakes, and that's a tribute to our coaching staff. So shout out to the assistants.
Yeah.
I noticed that he didn't say one of the assistants in that, but
interesting. Well, I don't think it's part of his job. I think
he's the offensive guy.
Yeah. I would say what you will about your reading skills, but I think Brad makes it hard on you. I have to say.
I mean, you're telling me.
The way that he talks is not really meant to be written down, I would say. Yeah, maybe it's a strategy of his,
Yeah, so people can't quote him.
But when he makes the fart noise, it's the biggest news in the history of the sport.
Well, that's easy to quote. He also said, quote, offense is fleeting. It's great when the ball goes in and it feels good. Defense wins championships. Offense wins you games. We are going to win in this league because we guard. It's about finding ways to win when the ball doesn't go in. So,
does defense win championships when you let Loyola Chicago shoot 53% from 2 and 40% from 3?
No, it loses you in the second round.
Does defense win championships when you give up let Houston shoot 51% from 2 and you give up 68 points and you lose by 15 in a game where they shot 27% from 3? I mean, what are we doing?
Do you think this team is better defensively than both of those teams?
No.
Okay.
Last year, yes. The year before, no.
Yeah.
People forget, but the year before, when Illinois got the 1 seed, they were number 7 in defense in the country, and this year they are 22nd.
Okay.
And they will not be number 7 unless they win the rest of the games.
They could hold Wisconsin to like 40. That might help.
If they can hold Wisconsin to like 35, that would be very ideal.
Very helpful. Yeah. Just so you guys all know, he did talk about Nico. He said Nico got to town right before the tip. He gets a physical and then he gets Fletch. So I'm not even sure that he's going to dress for games.
Probably not. Is it? Are they going to call him Nico instead of Nicolo?
I don't know.
I think that's better. I think Nico's better.
I mean, it's TJ, and they don't even call Sincere. They call him Buck. So every time he says Buck, I'm like, who's he talking about?
And then they say Matt
Meyer.
And then they say Terrence Rogers.
Use the whole thing. It's Matthew, okay? Use his God-given name.
Matthew Meyer.
I don't think that's how it works, but yeah. So again, Illinois in a game where Ethan thought that Illinois was going to, suck. They pretty much dominated this whole game. They were up 17 with 4 minutes left. Ohio State, plays the net and shoots a 3 after Illinois runs out the shot clock, gets it to 69-60. So they don't fall very far in the net. Great. Good job. ACG said, "Hi, I'm here. I made it. What's going on? How much Coleman slander did I miss? You want to know how much he missed? 0. He was the unanimous player of the game."
If you're in the comments, though, you may have seen some things.
Yeah. The fans are mad, but me and Ethan, we were happy with
We
it.
are all in. Illinois is they're behind Ohio State in the net. How about that? Anybody have
Yeah.
thoughts?
How
I'm-
stupid is the net?
I mean,
all I
Ohio
gotta say.
State has a quad 4 loss, and they're 2-7 in quad 1. Illinois is 3-5 in quad 1 and 0 losses in quad 3 or 4.
Yeah.
What is that?
The net's trash.
Ohio State's being rewarded for being 1-5 on the road. Like, that is so dumb.
Yeah.
But
Being
anyway,
rewarded because they beat teams like RMU 91-53
it's amazing. God,
and
it's so good.
SFPA 96-59. Good
and
work.
and UConn, who has just become atrocious and has a quad 3 loss, is 7th in the net. It's just so bad.
Yeah. But let's move on to Wisconsin. Unless you had something else to say about Ohio State. I saw you falling asleep there. So
That was just for show, obviously. Wisconsin.
people
Illinois,
just listen to us too, so they wouldn't even know unless
I'll
I said
just
something.
snore next time.
Thank you.
Illinois at Wisconsin. Illinois 14-6. Wisconsin is 12-7. Illinois 5-4 in the Big Ten. Wisconsin 4-5. Saturday 2 p.m. on Fox. Feels like a Bardo spot, but I don't know if they want him to be on center stage, national TV. I don't know. Maybe a Hummel spot. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Hummel does Fox. I think he just does Big Ten Network, but maybe does Fox. Whatever. Wisconsin, they've been reeling since they beat Minnesota on January 3rd. They do have Wall back, but not great.
Yeah. Wall, the last 3 games, 10 points, 3 of 10 shooting, 5 rebounds against Penn State in a win. That was a win, right? 11 points, 4 of 10 shooting, 5 rebounds against Northwestern in a loss, and 13 points, 6 of 13 shooting, 4 rebounds against Maryland in a loss. They scored 55 against Maryland, 63 in the other 2 games. And the game before Wall came back, they scored 45 against Indiana.
They are offensively challenged, and perfect timing for them to just light Illinois up from the field.
Yep. I feel it.
But I have enough confidence in the Illinois half-court defense to not let that happen completely. But, we'll see. Game since January 3rd for Wisconsin. They lost to Illinois by 10. They lost to Michigan State by 4. They lost to Indiana by 18. They beat Penn State by 3, even though Andrew Funk got 2 great looks for 3 to tie that game and missed them both. Great blobs by Shrewsbury there. Lost to Northwestern by 3, and they lost to Maryland by 18 last night. So not great. They are becoming a bit of who we thought they might be in the preseason. But they just a little inconsistent.
I mean,
and I think
they went on that. What they win, like 6 and 5 or 6 in a row, and everybody. I think they got ranked after that. They were top 20.
Yeah, they started 3-0 in the Big Ten. After they lost to Wake Forest on November 29th, they won 6 straight.
Yeah,
3-0 starting the Big Ten. They beat Marquette. But yeah, not great overall.
Yeah. My only worry, again, like you said, their offense has been bad, but they scored 42 in the second half against Illinois last game, and that was without Tyler Wall. Of course, Illinois scored 49 in the second half. So, if you score more than they do, I guess it really doesn't matter. Just got a feeling that something's going to happen. Illinois only had 3 more rebounds than Wisconsin in that game without Tyler Wall. And Wisconsin went 8 of 29 from 3 that game. So I got a terrible feeling about this. That I don't like teams losing.
But there's also the flip side where they're just, lifeless.
ACG says team struggling equals best game of every Wisconsin player's life against Illinois. Works every time. Yep. It's possible. Hopefully Illinois is back and they show up. And Wisconsin wasn't supposed to be good. They had that run, and now they got the run going the other way. Only beating Penn State in the last 6 or whatever he said. So
Syracuse was 3-3 coming off of a loss to Bryant when they played Illinois.
Yeah, Syracuse sucks though.
Is Wisconsin good? Syracuse metrics are not that much worse than Wisconsin.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you pick Wisconsin to win this game? Guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. I mean, what are you doing? You're trying to spoil this.
I'm not spoiling. I'm creating a teaser. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, like, follow, subscribe. I don't know what it's called.
Sure, right.
Do that stuff.
Was Bethune-Cookman not 4-8 coming into Illinois? They were desperate. 4 losses in a row going into Illinois.
Yeah, that's true.
Makes a lot of sense if you think about it, right? Okay. Wisconsin projected lineup: Chucky Hepburn, point guard, 3 points, 4 fouls against Maryland. So
ouch.
He'll probably have 30.
Yeah.
Guard Connor Esigian, I think is how they pronounce that.
Yep.
He hasn't been great as of late, but he's shooting 45% from 3, so got to watch out for him. Jordan Davis, who's only playing because of his brother, really. 6'4", small forward, 22 points in the last 5 games. So averaging a little over, 4 points per game or something?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sounds right.
I'm right on the money with that. Tyler Wall, 6'9" forward, 11 for 28 from inside the 3-point arc since his return. So, like you said, hasn't been putting up spectacular numbers since returning to their lineup.
Right.
And then center Stephen Crowell, 19 points in the last 2 games after he had 21 points against Penn State. So really what this all signals is that Wisconsin as an offense is struggling. And I wonder if they're just going to come out and shoot like 43s and try to make them.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
The thing is, Brad doesn't like other teams shooting 3, so we're just going to let Crowell and Tyler Wall score 35 apiece.
That is going to be a problem because
we'll be okay with it.
Wall is a lot like suing underneath, like he makes everything.
Yeah.
And Crowell will probably have 25 on Danger.
Yeah.
He had 20 against Illinois in the first game, but he was 1 for 7 from 3. So
yeah, I think the biggest thing is Coleman Hawkins playing defense on Tyler Wall. We didn't get to see that matchup in the first game, so that's gonna play a factor, I think. So.
Well, last season against Tyler Wall, you would think that they would have they would be running Grandison on Wall. That's just different.
Mm-hmm.
So, because they beat Wisconsin by 13 last year, and Wall still had 14 points on 7 of 11 shooting. And Johnny Davis was brilliant, 5 for 19, 22 points. So brilliant. But yeah, I mean, they didn't really have the size to, like Coleman Hawkins and RJ Melendez played a combined 4 minutes last year against Wisconsin. So Illinois did not use their bench at all against them last year. So I certainly like the idea that they have somebody that's more capable of guarding Wall that's in the lineup.
Yeah.
Because Grandison not it in that department. He's 3 inches shorter. And he's a Duke bench warmer. Anyway, adjusted offensive efficiency. That was a shot at him. I apologize. He was a solid player. I feel like everybody except for Kofi dropped off last season. So like from the 1 seed year to last season.
Yeah.
Trent kind of did, but still good. Like DeMonte went from being the number 1 3-point shooter in the country to like 500th probably. Anyway, adjusted offensive efficiency, Illinois 51st, Wisconsin 113th, one of the worst offenses in the Big Ten. Not good. Adjusted defense, Illinois 22nd, Wisconsin 35th. Tempo, Illinois 75th, Wisconsin 350. And then overall, Illinois 28th in the country. They keep going back and forth, 21 to 28 to 26 to 28 to 29 to 22 to 23 to 27 to 28, right? And then Wisconsin is a nice 69. So how about that?
Nice.
Players to watch.
I kind of gave it away earlier when I talked about Wall, but I'm going to go with Coleman Hawkins. Will we get good Coleman Hawkins? Will we get bad Coleman Hawkins? Will we get elite Coleman Hawkins? That's what I want to know. That's what we're going to find out. Tyler Wall, again, that matchup, I think that is beneficial for Illinois to have Coleman Hawkins guarding Tyler Wall. My worry is how well Coleman rebounds this game. I know that they're talking about putting an emphasis on it because Tyler Wall is a hard-nosed player that goes after a lot of rebounds. He hasn't been rebounding that well since coming back.
He won't be rebounding if Ty Rodgers is in the game.
Yeah. And then I went with Chucky Hepburn. for Wisconsin. He did have 22 against Illinois in the previous game. So Illinois is going to have to work harder to limit his threes and his shooting. I did look up last game. You picked Hepburn and Terrence Shannon Jr. I picked Epps and Crowell. So we picked the 2 leading scorers last time. Think we'll do it this time?
I'm going off the board.
You are.
Dane Danger, Illinois. Gonna need him to defend and not foul, even though Crowell versus Lieb would be intriguing quite a bit.
I mean, I think that's a guy Lieb could handle.
I don't know about that.
Okay. All right.
But they need Dane Danger to produce on both ends, I think, in this game,
Yeah.
which he hasn't done, which he hasn't really needed to do, I guess. But, you'd like to see him do it. And then I went with Connor Esijan, the shooting guard. I think he's going to make some threes in this game. I think if Illinois can kind of limit that a little bit, they'll have success. I don't know how many he hit against Illinois last time. He either had 1 or 2. Klesman, I thought, had
5
2.
points.
So 1-3.
Yep, 1-3. He was 1 of 3 from 3.
What was Klesman?
I don't know.
Imagine if that person didn't even exist and I just made up his name. That would be funny.
I'm not very good at navigating.
I'm pretty sure he had 2 threes.
interwebs.
2 for 4 or something. 2 for 3. 2 for 5. Maybe 2 for 6.
2 for 5.
Incredible content.
2
All
for
right.
5. 2 for 5, guys.
All right.
We got
predictions.
it. We got
predictions.
it. Oh, predictions. We are not very positive on this game.
It's a road game. It's tough.
No hopium here. I got Illinois losing 74-69. Wisconsin, again, is reeling. They need a victory at home. Is a place to get it. I think they're going to shoot better than they have been. And I think Illinois falls in a close one. 74-69 Wisconsin.
68-65 Wisconsin. Buzzer beater 3. Good night, the lights.
Who hits it? Esijan?
Yep.
Ouch.
To lose. It's going to hurt.
I was trying to look up Esijan's last few games. He scored 19 against Maryland, 10 against Northwestern, 10 against Penn State, 14 against Indiana, and 13 against Michigan State. So.
Interesting couple comments there. Would you rather go back to John Gross? I mean, all he said was he's an elite talker. I mean,
yeah, what do you say?
We've had other people that have gone way further than that.
Illini by 5, be a fun game, Steve says. I hope so.
I hope they win by 50. I'd rather win by 50.
I hope it's a sit back and relax game. I just,
It's the Big Ten. It won't be.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
All right. Around the Big Ten real quick here. Northwestern, 5-3 in conference play. Maybe they won't do the typical Northwestern fall off, but there's still 12 games for them to finish 2-10 in conference play.
Yeah, I mean, they had to take 10 games off or 10 days off to make up these games. So,
and Wisconsin folded against them, and I think somebody tweeted somebody that I follow tweeted something about how Northwestern gets a signature road win, beating Nebraska by 15 or something like that. How is that a signature road win? That's kind of my inspiration for tweeting the Indiana.
Guess for Northwestern, that's signature.
Signature road win at Nebraska. Wow, that's really something. But that's why I tweeted that Indiana got a signature win last night against Minnesota. Speaking of Indiana,
Ty Berry had 6 threes for 26 points against Nebraska. Holy cow!
I think he was questionable going into the game.
Ty Berry's shooting like that; they'll be tougher to beat.
Sure. Boo Booey will certainly do a disappearing act once he faces good guards. TJJ is averaging 24 points and 15 rebounds in the last 7 games. He had 25 and 20 against Minnesota's 26th big man on the depth chart last night. Pretty good.
Yeah, they should have lost that game. Holy cow!
And I tweeted something about how he did that against Minnesota's 18th center on the depth chart, and then Indiana fans thought I was being serious. Just so stupid. These people. Purdue at Michigan tonight. That's 8:00, and then Iowa at Michigan State. I think Michigan wins. I think Michigan State wins. Both home teams.
I think you've been pretty correct on these predictions.
I would almost
the
argue
game of.
like 90%
Yeah.
correct, probably. So
I'm pretty sure that I texted you first and said Michigan's going to beat Purdue.
it was in my head though the whole time.
Sure it was.
I've been thinking about that. Then this weekend you got Ohio State at Indiana Saturday. You got Nebraska at Maryland. You got Rutgers at Iowa. I think Rutgers at Iowa might be Sunday, but it also might be Saturday. I don't know. But I know Michigan at Penn State and Michigan State at Purdue are Sunday games. So I'll just go ahead and do this. I will take Ohio State over Indiana. I will take Maryland over Nebraska. I will take Iowa over Rutgers, Penn State over Michigan, and Purdue over Michigan State. So that is 4 home winners, 1 road winner right there for the weekend. So
who's winning on the road? Nebraska?
Ohio State.
I know.
It's stupid. And Illinois wins on the road as well. So I'd like to switch my pick. 68-64.
Whoa.
No, I won't do that. But
do
if
that.
it does happen, I'm going to act like I said that. So.
You're going to clip just this part.
I'm playing both sides here, certainly. All right.
Smart.
I think we've all seen enough, huh? That'll do it for us. We'll be back next time, 143.
Were you wanting to do a watch party Saturday?
I mean,
Is that why you asked what I was doing for the game?
not really, but we can get into that.
Yeah, I'll let you know. It just kind of depends how I'm running. So
I'll say watch party 7% chance. So
7% sounds about right. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is always good because when I say 80, it's really like 5.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
7 would be the opposite.
7 is spot on.
All right.
All right. We will see everybody next time. Episode 143. Illinois better prove us wrong and win.
That's right.
At Wisconsin,
Prove us
but
wrong.
even if they don't, it is what it is. All right. See you.